So welcome guys back to another video in the channel. Today we're doing a Mikel Arteta press conference reaction as he reacts to Partey, Tierney and Balogun, including online abuse and Nicolas Pepe. So first of all, Mikel Arteta has given an update on Thomas Partey, and he said that we are all devastated because we know the importance of Thomas. We haven't had him since we signed him for 3 consecutive games. It's a big blow for us, but he's adapting to the league. On reasons behind Partey's injury, he hasn't had a pre-season and probably hasn't had the type of preparation needed for such a change, and then his anxiety willing to do so well, to feel important. He's a big signing. All those things add, he broke down again, and we need to be patient now and he needs to recover properly because it's going to be key for us to have him available towards the end of the season. So that's what he said on Thomas Partey. Now, as I've said before, he needs to manage him well, and I think throughout the season Mikel Arteta hasn't managed him very well in terms of not rushing him back to starts. He did it in the Spurs game and then he got out for another month or so. Even when he came to Arsenal, he got injured very quickly, and it looks like he was rushed back for the Aston Villa game as well, and he's just picked up another injury to that same position on his thigh. And come on, we need him back because Thomas Partey is probably the important, if not the important player in our side. So we really need him to step up now, try and get really fit, because before he came to Arsenal, he had a non-existent injury record. He was injury free, he had no injury problems. So I'm not sure what's happening. Maybe we need to sack our physio, but Thomas Partey is such a big player for us and we really need to keep a hold of him. Hopefully he can come back quickly, but it looks like from the team news that came out yesterday, it's going to be 1 to 2 weeks. So he's definitely going to miss the next week first leg tie against Benfica, which is going to be played in Rome at the Stadio Olimpico, and the second leg is going to be played in Greece in the Stadio Gorgis something in. Next thing Arteta mentioned about was Kieran Tierney and his injury update. It looks like he's going to be back into full training next week, but Arteta has said we're going to have to see how the knee reacts when he starts to put a little bit more load. When you have pain and you're not comfortable and you're someone like Kieran who needs to do everything 100 miles per hour, you need to be in the right condition. When someone likes to tell him he doesn't feel right, something is wrong, because how much he wants it as well. So Kieran Tierney as well, another one. He's such an important player to our team, and you just have to come on, we really need to just pick ourselves up and keep going, because Kieran Tierney, we need him back fit. He's such an important player for us, and it looks like he's gonna be back into full training next week, and if he does well, he could be in the squad for the first leg tie against Benfica, because we will need him in the Europa League, at least if it's not going to be in the in the Premier League. But we really need him because he's such a big player for us going forward, defensively, attackingly, making us chances, with the creativity he brings to our side. So he's such a big player for us, so important, and we really need Kieran Tierney going back to full fitness. But we'll just have to see what happens with this one. Again, as I said, the team news on the website said it's going to be 1 week or something. He's going to be back. But again, he's had a lot of injury problems since he's been here, and he just needs to get a consistent run together where he's not injured, where he's continuously playing games, because he came with a hip problem, then he had a shoulder injury, and now he's having some sort of knee injury. You just have to keep it going, just keep focusing on his fitness, getting full fit, and then put him back in. I'd rather not rush him back and then have him for a consistent amount of time. I think that's, for someone like Kieran Tierney, I think that would be much more beneficial for us. But we'll have to see what happens with that one. But Kieran Tierney, Arteta has given an update. He could be back next week, depending on the load that his knee can suffer, because obviously he does a lot of job on and off the ball, and it's going to be very tough. So hopefully we don't rush him back. Hopefully we do the right thing with him. But that's the news on Kieran Tierney. Next thing Arteta talked about was Nicolas Pepe and his improvement to this side. Mikel Arteta said that I think he's done much better. I think there's been a click with him, even in his mentality, how he's approaching every training session, the importance of every action in the game, and how he can sustain his focus and his determination during games. I really like his attitude. What he's done in the last few weeks, I think it's been much better. He has still a lot of room to improve and grow, and willing to do that. So I'm expecting him to go to the next level very soon. So Arteta does have high hopes for him, but it's not always been like that with Mikel Arteta. He's not always really liked playing Nicolas Pepe. He's not always liked using him. It's a very tricky one, in my opinion, with Nicolas Pepe. You have to manage it. You have to manage it well, because if you don't, someone like him, who at times does rely on confidence to get him goals, just good moments just good moments to rely upon. you just can't always be relying upon that. So I think for someone like Nicolas Pepe, just to get a bit of consistency in the side, keep playing games, I think that would be very good for him. And I think he's a player who's going to be very important for us going into the rest of the season, especially in the Europa League, giving us more depth in the side, giving us more options. Someone like him and Martinelli, who we'll get onto, but Nicolas Pepe is so important to this team in terms of, some of the moments he can give us, cutting on that left side, or, playing on the left wing, combining with Cedric, who's now playing on the left side, or maybe even Tierney when he comes back. So very interesting to see what happened with Nicolas Pepe, see if he can continue his run. But at the moment, I'm very happy with his performance, and it seems like Arteta thinks he can go to the next level. Hopefully he can, because that's what we paid the big bucks for. Next thing Arteta talked about was Gabriel Martinelli. Now, he was asked on Martinelli not playing, and he said that, well, he came back and he did really well, but then he picked up another injury. It took him a while to come, and now it's about getting him into the rhythm, getting his place in the team like everybody else. Don't forget that we played him last time against Man United, and he started ahead of other players, so it's not like he's not having the opportunities. We know that he's got a huge potential, and he's done some really good things since he's come back. There's a lot of things to develop in his game, because of course at his age it's normal. So Martinelli, it's quite a tricky one, to be honest, because at one point I can see why he's not playing him, and at the second point I can see why he should be playing him, because obviously we know what Martinelli can bring. He's one of my favourite players, and I think he can bring us that dynamism in going forward, with the end product, with the pace, with just the energy he brings to the side going forward. And I think one of the reasons he's not getting in is probably because of his injury record, maybe just getting back to full fitness on the training ground before integrating him back in, playing in more games and things like that, getting in more minutes. But another reason is probably because Nicolas Pepe is playing really well on that left-hand side, because that's where Martinelli would usually play. So I think it's a few different reasons combined where Martinelli isn't playing, but I'd love to see him back into the side. If it's this game against Leeds, maybe I'll put him in. For someone like, Saka to rest him for Benfica, I'm not too sure, or maybe even trying up front, or save him for the next game against Benfica. But he does provide us a lot of options all across that front line. I think he probably could play a number 10 as well, but we'll just have to see what we do with Gabriel Martinelli. But that is the news, that Arteta thinks that it's normal for him his age, just to get into the rhythm, especially after all his injuries. But we'll just have to see what happens with that one. Next thing Arteta talked about was Folarin Balogun. Now, on Balogun, he said that his contract situation, he thinks that he's very positive that Flo is going to stay with us, and he thinks what we're trying to do as a club, and it's what I'm trying to do as a manager. As far as I know from last week, the player wants to be here, so I'm positive. I think he's made some big progress in a few months. Now, with Folarin Balogun, I think it's just the fact that, why is he not getting games in the first team, like in some of the FA Cup games? Why wasn't he at least in the squad? Why wasn't he getting put on and things like that? It just kind of baffles me, because, if you want him to sign a new deal, you're going to have to put him into teams and squads. And I think he's better than Nketiah, and at times I think he probably is better than Lacazette as well. But, we just have to play him, and hopefully Arteta can do some convincing. The club can convince him to sign that new deal, because players like Folarin Balogun are big for our future, and we really need to get them signed to new deals, and in a few years could be worth a lot of dough. So we have to get these players signed up, and we'll just have to see what happens with Folarin Balogun. But Arteta said he is very confident. Next thing Arteta discussed was about social media abuse. I'm just going to read this through. I'm not going to give too much on this. He said that I prefer not to read, because it would affect me a lot more the moment that somebody wants to touch my family, because it has happened. The club was aware of it, and they tried to do something about it, and that's it. We have to live with it, and it's not going to stop tomorrow. We know that, but medium, long term, can we do something about it? When you're winning, everything is beautiful. You're incredible and the best coach. And when you lost, it's completely the opposite. It's not pleasant. When it goes personally against me, I can take it. When the family's involved, it's a different story. Just quickly on this, obviously it's not good that he's getting abused, things like that. But still, as a manager of Arsenal Football Club, you have to sometimes be expecting these things. So there isn't loads you can do about it, just other than the social media networks need to be handling this. But yeah, that's it for today's episode of Press Conference Reaction. If you want me to do more of these, leave it in the comment section down below. See you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.